Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Real Talk for Real Teens, hosted by Kim Creighton, or as she's known by the people who know her best, Mama C. The show where we uniquely combine the information teens need with the entertainment teens want.
Welcome to another show of Real Talk for Real Teens. Today we will be talking about the drama of social media. Everybody is Twittering, is Facebooking, is linking in and everything, and there are some things that you guys should be aware of. Before we jump in, I'd like to introduce my co-host today, Kayla. She's a sophomore from Savannah State. Welcome, Kayla.
Hello, Mama C.
How are you, babe?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful. And the reason I have you on today, because this was your idea, if you don't remember. One of your questions when I was asking people to give me subjects, one of your questions was about particularly about relationships and people on social media.
Yes.
So why don't you start by telling people a little bit about yourself, and then just go into why that was a question for you.
Well, like Mama C said, my name is Kayla, and I'm from Savannah State University. I'm a sophomore at Savannah State, and I've known Mama C for about, I think 4 years now. I'm not entirely sure, but I've known her for a while. The reason I wanted to discuss relationships on social networks is because it seems to get a lot of people in trouble, especially in high school, in college, and really in everyday life. The things people say on Twitter and Facebook, the pictures that you post can ruin a relationship with your spouse, your family, and even a job. And I can witness and attest to that.
Oh, so you know somebody who that has happened to?
Oh, yes, plenty of people.
Okay, could you give us just an example without naming names of something that's happened?
Okay, on Facebook, you're in a relationship and you put in a relationship with such and such, and, people take pictures and they tag you in it. If you are in a picture, in a derogatory position, and you're tagged with someone who is not your spouse or your significant other, you get caught up in that situation, and it becomes a big drama, big controversy, people talking bad and slandering each other's names. It's not good at all.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that happens. But before we move on, I want to, I put this link into the Facebook page and the Twitter page, but I wanted to say one of the things that I'll be referring to today is an article that was in Mashable that is entitled 12 Things Students Should Never Do on Social Media, and it's by Stephanie Buck. Sorry about that, B-U-C-K. Stephanie Buck. 12 Things Students Should Never Do on Social Media. So we will be referring to that. But I, just coming from the classroom, I met Kayla in high school. There were a lot of the discipline issues, and I'm going to say a lot of the discipline issues when it came to females, all were centered around social media and what happened outside of school, and bringing that outside of school stuff to a school environment where now if you act on whatever happened outside of school, now you've made it a legal issue for the school, or has different repercussions than if you would have just left it outside of school.
Right.
And going to when you were talking about the picture, you get caught up. There are a lot of, people are finding out they're no longer in relationships on Twitter, Facebook, because people have changed their status, but they failed to tell the other person. Besides this 12 things that students should never do on Facebook article that I'll be referring to, there was a few things that I really wanted to just address. Social media as it relates to your education and specifically your job beyond the school environment, or your potential jobs beyond the school environment. Social media being used as a coward's way out of, because everything should not be said in social media, and I'm going to include in that text messaging and IMing. There are some times when you need to have a conversation. Everything cannot be handled on social media, and I find that a lot of people use that as a coward's way out of saying things that they normally wouldn't say in front of somebody's face or tell them to say to them directly. And also, there's when you don't have the intonation of voice, when you don't have body language as your cue, you don't have facial expression as your cue, there's a lot that can be lost in translation. So somebody could have their all caps on by mistake or, and send you a message, and you think they're yelling at you.
Right.
But instead of calling and saying, hey, what you yelling about, you respond as if they're yelling at you.
People respond in a negative way because they feel as if it's in a negative way when really it's really not, or it could be used in a different way.
Yeah, it could be just excitement, all caps. It could be anything, but without that person standing in front of you or even hearing their voice on the phone so you can hear their voice tone, you lose something in translation. So all you have to go by is what you can assume. And a lot of times that's not right. I find myself a lot of times someone will send me a text message, and I'll say, okay, I'm not clear here. And instead of going back and forth trying to clear it up, I just pick up the phone and call them. Now, you know better than most, I don't like talking on the phone. I'll text you all day. But if there's something I need to make sure that both parties are clear about, but you also know if there's something going on and I need to talk to you, I'm not going to text you. I'm going to call you.
Right.
And so it's like everybody's putting putting everything on social media, having conversations that are not meant for social media on social media.
Yeah, like, I saw something the other day on a social media network, something sexual that should never, ever be posted on social media networks. And
was this a young person?
I believe they were still in high school, so yeah.
Oh, so they're okay. And that's a big thing because just because you think you took it off the internet, it's never gone. You never know who. And you never know who downloaded it before you took it off because now, with Facebook now you can download pictures. I can have them all on my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you use social media?
I try to use it in a positive way. I try to not say anything negative, don't want to slander anyone's name or, be negative because it just adds on to the negativity that's already going on. I can't stop what people say on their social media network, but I can stop what goes on mine. So as far as, like, writing, F this and cursing at people or telling your problems on there, we should really use a social media network to network. We should use it to inform people. Like this month is Breast Cancer Month. We should inform people about getting checked and things of that nature. It shouldn't be used for negativity.
And I get you, but that's the nature of where we are, and it's sad that people. And I look at, and I'm going to say, I see on my page a lot of people. This is just adults. They're charting their kids' lives from womb when they come out. From that very first sonogram until this present time, wherever we are. That's a lot of information to have out about your child. To me, it is. Anybody can pick up, get that photograph, and do something with it. Anybody can, and how many people have gotten caught up with the bathroom pic, the mirror?
A lot of people.
That picture right there, I don't know why people continue to take that bathroom pic. It has gotten a lot of people in trouble. So with that said, I'll go to the first. All right, item on the list of 12 things students should never do on social media, and we'll just go through it. So the first one is post illegal activities. How many times can I tell you that students who did stuff off campus posted it on Facebook and they got caught?
Every day.
They do not realize that the police stations around this country have somebody now, that is their job, to search social media.
It's really sad when the smoking pictures and the drinking, the underage drinking, it's like, you're not cool, you're dumb. Bottom line.
And it's gonna catch up to it. I mean, you think about when what's the swimmer's name? I can't think of it right now.
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps. Yes, after he won in 2008 Olympics, he was chilling with some weed in one picture, and he was so embarrassed that picture came online. And I think if he wasn't who he was, somebody could have taken that much farther than him just apologizing to his fans and to his parents or whatever. Because he was photographed huffing on a bong. And I'm sure in Georgia, I mean, he's not from Georgia, but I'm sure drug paraphernalia is illegal. So just having possession of it is illegal. And that's a show for another time. I really want to bring somebody in law enforcement on the show so young people can really understand what is legal and what isn't legal. Because having drug paraphernalia in a lot of states is illegal. But you're right, the infamous red cup, you fighting out in your neighborhood, gang fight or any other kind of fight, and your friends, we saw that a lot in high school. There's a fight going on, and somebody has a camera, so now we have to confiscate the camera or the phone, because it's their phone. We have to confiscate that phone, because if we didn't as teachers, we're liable.
Right.
But now you've given the prosecution or the district attorney evidence of what you've done. And so posting. Go ahead.
I'm saying, they shouldn't do it. It really shouldn't be like this.
Yeah, I use social media is entertaining. I've reconnected with my high school people I went to high school with that without Facebook I would never have reconnected with. So I enjoy that. But all the other stuff that comes with that is just not appropriate. So we'll go to we're going to take our first break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back.
New or unknown musical artists, we need you for the show. If you'd like to have your own mini concert, please send 3 original quality produced songs, no sampling, to realtalkforrealteens@gmail.com. Welcome back to Real Talk for Real Teens, hosted by Kim Creighton. To talk live on the air, call 347-539-5226.
Welcome back. As you can see, guys, I don't have a musical guest. I'm really looking to have, if you know someone who has music, who has it recorded, a quality recording, please let them get in touch with me at realtalkforrealteens@gmail.com. I really believe in this show being fun and exciting, and adding music to the conversation will be a great way to do that. So back to the conversation. One of the things that number 2 on her list is bullying. What do you have to say about that?
Bullying. Bullying leads to fighting, depression, suicide. That's the number 1. Suicide. I feel like kids are mean. Everybody has a mean streak. Everybody has at least one mean streak, and I feel like we're in a generation now where people don't care. They just talk about your mama, your daddy, all on Facebook, Twitter, everything. And they don't think about anybody else's feelings. They just think about how it's making them feel. It makes them feel better to bring you down, basically.
Well, I'm going to tell you, that's been around forever, people talking about it. I mean, bullying has been around forever. The change is it stayed, and it wasn't acceptable then. But what it did then when I was growing up, when you left that school, you didn't have to deal with that bully anymore. You have to deal with it the next day. But this is like you're getting harassed 24 hours a day. It doesn't stop. You get no break from it. You're at school, you're getting harassed. You're online, you're getting harassed. Every place you go that you might want to socialize with your friends, you're getting harassed. And they're telling people who don't even know you, and then those people are harassing you. So it just becomes this exponential. It grows so big, and that's leading these kids to believe that there's no other way out. And that's sad. But, and suicide is the extreme, but you're right. The major one is the depression. That's the major one. That is to feel like, because as I said, when there was bullying when I was growing up, when you left the school campus, unless they were big and bad or lived in your neighborhood, you didn't have to deal with it. But now it's like you can't get away from it. You're trying to, at this age, you're trying to figure out who you are, the things you like, your social networks in school, be it cheerleading clubs, friends. They mean so much to you. They actually mean more to you than your parents or adults. And that's why one reason I'm doing this, because you're letting your peers tell you information that's so wrong. And so you're misinformed on a lot of things. But, yeah, your peer group is the most important thing to you. And then somebody decides, for whatever reason, that they're going to destroy that for you. And it might not even a conscious thought. It can happen so simply. One day, out of the blue, you do something unintentional to somebody, and they decide, you know what, I'm done. This is what I'm going to do. And it's such a cowardly thing to do.
It is.
And what I don't get, though, well, I do get it, because when you say people are mean, there's that crowd or gang mentality. When one person starts, it's easier to do it in a group than by yourself. So, and it's so much easier to do not only in a group than by yourself, but now you have a computer in your face. You don't have to even confront this person. And you can make up. Go ahead.
You don't have to approach them. I think it's more the embarrassing factor, because once they put it on these social networks and they tag your name and things of that nature, everybody knows. Everybody can laugh. Everybody can basically see this.
Exactly. So it's not like you're just at your school anymore. The whole world.
Yes. Even
the whole
people
world
who
has
don't know
potential.
you.
Exactly. And they draw opinions from it. Yeah. That's the thing that gets me. It's just the cowardice behind. If you're so bad, if you want to do, you want to pick a fight, or you want to do that, say something. Don't. But it's just like this whole herd. That's what I meant to say. A herd mentality. It's like everyone when you see the shows and about the African plains, when one wildebeest takes off, all of them take off.
Right.
And you don't even know where you're running, but you think because the first one took off because a lion was out there, so you're going to do it too, just in case.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like this huge run. Everybody's just running for, and they don't even know what's going on, but they're just telling it. And that's how you're in a school system, and it's like, how do they find out at the other school? It's not even at my school. It's within my school system. So it's like you just can't get away from it.
That's true.
All right, number 3 on her list is trashing your teachers. This is something you should not do on social media, is trash your teachers and or employer or potential employer or potential school. And why do you think that is?
Because they're going to find out. It always happens. It has happened on my campus. I've seen it firsthand. They will always find out.
So can you tell me what happened on your campus as it relates to a teacher?
Well, not really a teacher, but someone of higher power, I guess.
Okay, authority. Mhm.
Yeah. My old freshman dorm, they have resident directors that's in charge of the entire dorm. And one of the residents didn't like her, basically got on Twitter and said her full name and just wrote, called her everything but a child of God, and just wrote, list everything. And she found out, and they printed it and presented it towards residential living. And she was fined, and she had to take an anger management class, and something else happened. But writing bad things, I know people get upset and people say things out of anger because, their teacher or whoever's in charge has made them mad. But writing their name and writing things about the situation online is never good because it makes you look bad in the end because they're not writing about you, you're writing about them.
And and it's also short-sighted. And this is something I've talked about before. It's not, you can't just live in this moment. You have to start thinking about what action I take now. How could that affect me in the future? Because there will be consequences, good, bad, or indifferent. There will be consequences. So you putting something on Facebook about a teacher, or even you have your phone in class and you're cheating on a test or anything. That stuff can be found out. Somebody's gonna leak it. I have a friend who he said his father taught him, if you have a secret and you have to tell it to something, tell it to a rock. It's like you never let. First of all, you don't want to burn any bridges. I don't care how bad the situation is. You want to try your best. It can't always happen, but try your best to live with integrity and do your best in that situation. But what you don't want to do is burn your bridges with people that you now have to go back to. Because I know it didn't happen on social media, but I know that several students asked me to write recommendations for them for college. Well, no, I'm not. If I know based on, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to do it just so you can be happy. No, I'm not. Because I can't recommend you based on what I know. Now, that doesn't mean you won't change, but based on what I know right now, I'm not going to recommend you. And you never know when you're going to be able to use somebody or need somebody's assistance in the future. You never know. I'm starting my this is a new business for me. I'm reaching out to people I haven't talked to in 7 or 8 years. But because I have a great reputation and integrity and work ethic in what I do, and I'm good at what I do, they remember my name. If they don't, I have to just remind them. And what can I do to help you? You never know what you'll need somebody else to do, particularly a teacher, because most of you guys don't have jobs, so you can't use that as a reference. So you're going to need these people in your corner.
Right.
Okay, the next one is objectionable content from school computers and networks. Now, the little firewalls they have at school don't work. Y'all can figure out a way to get around them. But best believe, if you've done something illegal on those things, they can find you. Because you also, while you're so smart in getting around it, trust me, when you've done that, I know you've checked your email address, which they can track. I know you've been on Facebook and Twitter when you were when you illegally hacked the system. They can check all that.
So basically, if you log in through the firewall or whatever, once I log into Facebook, after I log in, they can look at everything.
Oh yeah, they have a history. You can't swipe it off. But not only that, excuse me. Most school computers. Hold on just a second. I have to cough.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me for that. Yes, because you've hacked into their system, so that might alert already. That might have already have an alert. They have the thing going out looking at when their system has been hacked or when unauthorized website pops up. And inevitably, because I know the system we're in, you couldn't get to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all that on there. They blocked all that. So if you got around that, and then you went to your personal account, which you guys do because you're not thinking. You're thinking, oh, I'm so smart, I got around it. Yeah, but yet you left your fingerprint all over that computer system. So if you want to upload that video of the fight you just recorded, or you saying something smart to the teacher, or whatever, they know where to find it. They have computer forensics. I think that's the name of the title. And that's all they do.
Sit around
No, their job is to take a hard drive and find whatever is on it. So if you know you can't watch porn at the house, don't try to watch porn at school. Not on their computers. And also, you might not think about
that should be common sense, kinda.
But common sense, baby, ain't all that common. You know that.
True.
And don't think just because. And also, it goes with your wireless. If you have a wireless, let's say you brought your iPad to school, and they let you tap into their network, they can monitor your iPad, your phone, your computer, because it's on their network. And most schools will tell you, because I know when I had my laptop from the school, anything you do on their computer or their network is for them to look at. So these students who are at school, who have school computer school, the school provided them for computers. That's not for you. All that you need to use that for is for school. I don't care if it's at your house.
That's true.
Anything done on that computer belongs to them, and they have every right to check it.
Oof.
What's the oof for?
That's kind of creepy.
You didn't know that?
I mean, yeah, but
exactly. Yeah, but what?
I mean,
you don't think about it in those terms, do you?
No.
And that's what I mean when you're saying common sense. It's not about, it's just people just don't know. Yes, that laptop, if I took it home and I got even on my wireless network at the house, because I did it from their computer, they have the right to look through it.
I would have two computers.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I have to admit, when I had that computer before I got my other one, I was on Facebook and everything. I wasn't doing anything that I shouldn't have been doing. But, yeah, I stopped doing that because I really thought about that. That means because to access it on that computer, they had to have my now they have my login information.
Mm-hmm.
Even like when so it's just not a smart thing to do. That equipment belongs to the school. Those networks belong to the school. And so here's number 5 is what you should not do. Post confidential information. Please, guys, please, 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 please. I'm going to read you this example of what she has in there. She says, somebody told her about this warning. This weekend, my niece, who was going into her junior year in high school, posted her high school schedule on Facebook. She took a picture of it and threw it right up there because she was so excited to share with the info with her friends, complete with her Social Security number, student ID, address, full name, birthday, and other personal information. All you guys who are on these social networks and your birthday year is showing up, please take that off.
I don't even know how old I am on Facebook.
Exactly. Please take that year off. Please, when you're telling people that you, just don't put personal information on that. Just don't do it. Confidential information, I mean.
Like, people have their phone numbers on there.
Oh, exactly. And I don't even like the fact that I have to use my email address for that. But you can quote unquote block it. But we'll get to that later because there really is no privacy.
None at all.
And I've seen my Facebook friends gripe and moan, talking about how Facebook has changed and they've taken away this privacy. I'm going to be honest. How many of us actually read that thing before we click agree? Not many. We don't know what rights we've agreed to let go of.
We could have agreed to slavery and we didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it. And also, make sure when you're on, let's say if you're at a Starbucks cafe, you never know who's looking over your shoulder. When you're in the school library, you never know who's looking over your shoulder. You never know who's hacked into your system from that open network. Please, please, please do not put too much. And then they'll put a picture next to it. So not only do I have your name and address, I know what you look like.
True. That's why when you asked me who I was on Facebook, that is why.
Ah, okay. Because I was like, I don't know this person. Yeah, you have to be very, and I'm not saying be scared, but be cautious. This is a whole different information. This is a whole different world. So with all that information, anybody could have stolen her identity, and they wouldn't even have to hack into anything because she's giving it to them.
Yes.
And also that goes with, this is not specifically social media, but just the fact that she had all that on her class schedule.
That's not safe.
Yes.
They were just supposed to put your name. I thought they were never supposed to put your social anywhere. They were always supposed to exit out and put the last 4 digits, if anything.
Certain people have different rules. Because they said it was on her class schedule. Social Security number, student ID, address, full name, and birthday.
Oof.
Exactly. And then I see kids, even with, when I pass out report cards, they throw them in the garbage can. Your student ID's on there. You don't know what I could do with your student ID.
Right.
Because the computer doesn't know that I am not a child when I put that information in. It knows that I have the information I need to access whatever I want to based on your student ID.
That's true.
All right, before we hit the last, get to the last stuff, we're going to take a little break again.
Real Talk for Real Teens is having a national co-host intern search, and duties include interviewing guests, screening calls, and queuing breaks. Now, the ideal candidate is age 16 to 20, energetic, outgoing, organized, takes initiative, and is truly interested in doing the job well. But you must have reliable access to the internet and a telephone. So please send a video 2 minutes or less demonstrating why you would be perfect for this position. Creativity counts. Send your submissions to realtalkforrealteens@gmail.com. Welcome back to Real Talk for Real Teens, hosted by Kim Creighton. To talk live on the air, call 347-539-5226.
All right, let's jump into the next one. It's overly specific location check-ins. When you tell,
That is stupid. That is stupid. I hate that button that they. I don't know why they put that on there. It's just stupid.
Well, I'm not gonna say it's stupid. It serves a purpose. I mean, it helps people share, but it's about again being wise. Again, I won't say something stupid. It's about how you use certain things. Because a car, if used properly, is a great tool, but used recklessly can commit murder. Okay. So it's not about saying what you can't in those instances. It's how to use it. So with the girl with her, let's go back to the class schedule. I would have just put, these are the classes I'm taking, generic. I wouldn't have put any order. It would have been just, biology, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But it wouldn't have had any specifics on there. So specific check-in. Do not tell people you home alone. Do not tell people you're out alone. Do not, like Foursquare, when you get, you get points when you go check in at certain places. That's fine and dandy if you're in a safe place. You're in a group of people. You might say Starbucks. You don't have to say the specific Starbucks you're at. There are thousands of those things. I don't even in my... Go ahead.
Now they have it where you can say where you're at, and they can map it exactly that point, that exact position, north, south, east, west, where you were facing. That's what I feel like it's just.
Well, that can be turned off. Because I'm not even talking about, let's step back from check-ins, because that's something you're doing intentionally. When you post, I never post where I am. I always turn that location thing off. Now, yeah, I'll check in when I'm at a football game, I'm hanging out at baseball, I'm at a club or at a restaurant. Yeah, I can check in there. But am I gonna say, I'm home alone? No. Am I gonna say, I'm home alone and I live, and it's gonna say you live there, blah blah blah, USA? No. You need to be, and that's why if you notice, I didn't use your last name.
Right.
I don't use you guys' last names on any of these, and I try to be as broad as possible by just saying, Sophomore Savannah State University or whatever. I try to be as broad as possible, but be careful with those check-ins because you don't know who's watching, and that's the thing. Now, that's the thing you need to be cautious of. You do not know who's watching. There have been many cases of somebody portraying themselves as somebody else's picture, somebody else's age, somebody else, and they're not who they. You can be anybody on the internet, absolutely anybody. I could be a 79-year-old man, and on Facebook if I chose to be.
That's how it is. Like a lot of people, like especially on Facebook, where it's like the guys, they love the little models that add them on Facebook. But if she has over 1,000 friends, they're all males, but she doesn't post any. Like some stuff it should come naturally. That
well, a lot of those are spam. I mean, not spam. Viruses.
Viruses.
And when you click on them, they get your password and everything else, and then they try to hit your whole network. So because you couldn't help clicking on the fine girl who you say has over 1,000 friends, now you've put all your friends on your list at risk, which is not smart. Now that right there is not smart. because that's the quickest way for me to unfriend you.
True.
Number 7, lie, cheat, or plagiarize. The funniest thing is somebody says, oh, I can't do this because I'm ill. And lo and behold, somebody's in a conversation or something, and it comes up that while this person was quote-unquote ill and they couldn't turn in their project or whatever, they were on at the game. And you have pictures, and it's time-stamped. That the same time they're supposed to take your test or turn in your project, they were at the game. They were out of town. They were whatever. You guys keep getting caught up. Also, lying on, like, even on LinkedIn, where that's a professional site, which I hope a lot of you guys are using because it's a great networking site. But don't lie about your experience. Anybody can go. You can Google. That is now it's not a thing. Google is a word. You can Google anybody. So if you've had this great extensive background, and I decide to Google it, and even the company, and I call, and they have, because legally all they can say is if you work for them or not. And they say no, you just screw that up for yourself.
Right.
So many people get caught lying and cheating on social media. If you lying and cheating, why are you telling everybody? Isn't that the point of lying and cheating? You ain't trying to tell the truth.
Right. Keep it a secret.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said keep it a secret if you're trying to do it.
Yeah. It's like you cheating on your girlfriend, like you said, and a picture pop up that you've gotten tagged in because you've gotten tagged in, and because she's your friend, it pops up on her page. See, Facebook never used to do that. But I can see down, on the side of scroll, everything the people that I'm subscribed to are doing.
Yes. Facebook, social networks have really upgraded.
They're trying to make you more sociable, but that big social can really come back and bite you in the butt. If you're not telling the truth, you call in sick on your little job because everybody going to Six Flags. Don't post no pictures on. Don't let your friends post no pictures of you or include your name on no pictures or nothing. Tag you in nothing at Six Flags.
People used to do that when I used to work at Old Navy.
What?
They would call off for work, and we call in these gang of people, and we used to have this Facebook site for all Old Navy workers or whatever, and it popped up that one of the girls was out at like a bar or something, and she didn't want to come in, and it popped up.
Yep. And it will do that. So number 8 is threaten violence. I think this goes without saying. Come on, people. Do not say what you going to do to somebody else on social media. That's how a lot of these young people who are angry and about to go on these rampages are getting caught. It is a threat. As a parent, if I was a parent of a teenager and I saw that somebody threatened my child on social media, you best believe I'm going to get a copy of that and I'm going to pursue it to the full extent of the law. I don't care if you were angry in that moment and you passed. I don't care because I don't know how you're going to react. Please do not threaten people on Facebook. And that was the stuff that kept coming back at the school. But they did this on Facebook. Or they did this on Twitter. You can ruin your whole life because you're angry in one moment. Social media is not the place to vent your frustrations or violent thoughts. It is just not that place.
I feel like people should handle their anger way better than how they do it. Writing those negative things, I'll beat this and I should come shoot this up like this. I don't see how that you could be so angry that you want to write about it.
Well, if you want to write about that, then you put it in a journal, and you put that under your bed, and then you go see a school counselor or somebody. Because writing is great. It's very healing. It's cathartic, but don't put it on social media. Social media is not the place for you to do your therapy.
They have people for that.
Yes.
Counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, whoever.
Number 9 is ignore school-specific policies, and I think we covered that. But one thing I do want to say is, she says on here, school policies vary widely according to religious affiliation, type of school, public versus private, geographical location, district, gender, which means co-ed or single gender. Therefore, technology and social media policies are different for nearly every school. Behavior that may fly at one school is reason for expulsion at another. And I want to give you this example. For example, one Catholic high school student handbook reads, when a student is using online social media of any variety, she must always bear in mind that the material she posts reflects upon the school, our diocese, and the Catholic Church as a whole. That means posting your opinions about sensitive subjects like abortion, homosexuality, euthanasia, divorce, birth control, for example, could jeopardize your standing as a student. So again, we're talking about this is not even on campus. This is not even using school stuff, but you signed the handbook. And everybody wants to use freedom of speech, but you signed the handbook.
Right. I feel like people just don't read it if it says this is how they set their rules, this is what they set in place to be enforced, and you sign it. Nothing you have to say after it happens it doesn't matter because you signed it. It was your choice to sign it. Nobody forced you to sign it. Free will. You signed it.
Yep. Let's take another little break.
Okay, check it out. Real Talk for Real Teens theme music competition. New intro, outro, and break music is needed for the show. It'll debut on our first show in 2013, but the deadline for all submissions is November 30th, 2012. Send all submissions to realtalkforrealteens@gmail.com. Good luck. Welcome back to Real Talk for Real Teens, hosted by Kim Creighton. To talk live on the air, call 347-539-5226.
Number 10 is unprofessional public profiles. Again, we've talked about this. If you have those red cup pictures, if you have yourself drunk, sloppy drunk, throwing up, acting a fool, half-dressed, please take those off before you start applying to jobs because people are at these jobs. Now, I don't agree with them asking you or requiring you to give them your password to Facebook or Twitter. But even without that, if they Google your name, something's going to come up. Because we put so much on our public profile that something's going to come up.
Why do they ask for passwords?
That's what a lot of businesses are doing, and I don't agree. Now that I don't agree with. A lot of companies are asking or requiring you give them your or maybe not. If you don't give it to them, then you open up your Facebook and your Twitter right at that interview.
Oh.
Yes,
I don't know if I agree with that.
I might not either, but that's a requirement for some jobs. And until some court says it's illegal, and you know you might want that job, and that's the requirement for that industry or whatever, you have knocked yourself out the right. There are many people who have lost opportunities on being interviewed or second interview or whatever because somebody just decided to do a Google search on them.
All right.
Without even asking for that's what I'm saying. I don't even need to use your password, or I don't even need the private things, because people put so much public stuff, put so much private stuff on public that I don't even have to use that. But be mindful before you start looking for jobs, internships, whatever it is. Take that stuff off. Anything that you tagged in that's inappropriate, untag it. Number 11, never rely on privacy settings 100%. Come on, guys. They change too much, and like I said before, we're not even reading them. So don't think just because you put something on Facebook is private. I was listening to on the news the other day, and it was on Today's Show the other day, and the judge actually threw it out. But this one woman who went on a date on Match.com, so that means she met the guy online. They went on a date. He held her hostage for 5 hours, raped her, beat her, everything else. Finally let her go. She went home, got in the shower, and decided she was not going to turn on the water because, that would have gotten rid of the evidence. So I guess she did some Google searches online, and then she went to the hospital. Well, the defense attorney wanted to subpoena her whole search history because they were saying that it didn't happen to her, and they could prove it by looking at her searches. Because it's such a new territory, and all the other evidence showed that it did happen, the judge said no. Think about if that judge had said yes. And she had gone on there and looked at what to say, just because she wanted to be confident of what to make sure, she said when she went to the hospital, she said the right things to make sure she had a good case. She wasn't lying or anything like that. But that's the gray area right now. What can be used in court? What is private? Because what was private yesterday is not private anymore. Our journals used to be private, but now we're blogging. We're putting our personal information on blogs. That's not private anymore. So never assume anything is private. Always assume that anything you post, she says in here, it's best to assume anything you post is fair game, potentially seen by your school, your parents, and by strangers.
That is true because, once it's on the internet, no matter how many times you try and delete it, it's still going to be there forever.
Yeah. And number 12, she says, do not post emotionally. We've all said and done things we regret. It's human nature to react without thinking through the consequences. However, whenever possible, take a moment to imagine how your social media posts affect the feeling, safety, and well-being of those around you, even your worst enemies. Posting an angry tweet in the heat of the moment may feel cathartic, but the momentary pleasure you get from writing isn't worth the potential harm it could create. Take a moment, breathe, think, and reboot. That is never do anything when you're in a negatively emotional state. Don't leave your job. Don't spend no money. Those are things you do not do when you're emotional. And again, when you put that stuff out there, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt.
Yes.
So in our last, is there anything you want to say to wrap up or let, the young people, your friends who may be listening, what do you have to say about what we've talked about and social media as a whole?
I'm just saying, let us all be cautious of what we do and say on social media networks. Let's try and be more positive than negative. Just be better. Like, be more aware, because it is a lot going on out here in this world, and I feel like this social media is kind of like tearing us all down because, you know, relationships, jobs, things, school, things of that nature. It's just kind of messing it up, and if we'll all just be positive, there's nothing they can say bad about us if we're being positive. That's pretty much it, though.
And that just brought up something for me. It's like you even see the hoax of the celebrity hoax, the deaths. And I was watching that on something the other day, and I didn't even think about it this way. You know, it's Eddie Murphy died, somebody else died, and it just spreads on social media. You're not thinking about that family who may hear that their family or think that their family members died through social media. There are consequences to everything we do. And social media is great. It's a great way to connect. It's a great way to have fun. You can play games, all those things. But it is not the place to have serious conversations. It is not a place to air out your dirty laundry. It is not the place to confront somebody. It is not the place for you to show those illegal fights that are happening on campus. That's not what it's for. And bottom line is, when you do those things, it comes back to haunt you. And you have to deal with the consequences of that. And you sit back and whine, you know, my mom and dad try to get me out of stuff. But if you've crossed the legal line, there's nothing you can do. And let me say that, and let me say this last thing before I leave. Please be mindful, teachers and adults who have young people on your social networks. Because if you see something, a threat, something illegal on social networks, by law, if you are a mandated reporter, which is most people who work with young people, which means you have to report anything that may harm that person or somebody else, you have to report that. Please do not have, I never had young people on my social media until I left, and the ones I have are grown, adults. Please do not do that, because if it comes out that you saw it on Twitter and or Facebook and did not say anything, you will be held liable. Please, please, please. And I'm thinking it's going to go with some other stuff. I think this is going to go as far as if you've seen your friend put a threat on Facebook or Twitter, and you did not inform anybody, but you knew beforehand that this person was going to do something to somebody, and somebody finds out you do, I believe you will, in the future, they're going to say you're an accessory to the crime.
Right, they can.
Huh?
I said they can say that you're an accessory because you saw it. You didn't do anything about it.
Exactly. And so now your friend's behavior is becoming your responsibility. You need to think about that, guys. You need to think about, are you willing to be responsible for somebody else's behavior? If not, you need to unfriend them, stop following them, talk to them, pull them aside, not on Facebook, not on Twitter, but to have those conversations with your friends, because just like when you your friend steals something and you're in the store with them, you might not even know they stole it. The police don't care. It's all you going down with them. So on that note, I want to thank Kayla so much for joining me this week. Go ahead.
I said you're welcome.
Oh, thank you. I miss you, booby. And on that note, we'll say goodbye. Join us next week, Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thank you for listening, and please join us each and every Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern for more Real Talk for Real Teens.